what did you do next? What was the kind of what did you watch? I think you watched some documentaries on Netflix.
Oh yes. So I did watch documentaries on Netflix, like the standard ones. In 2000, well, that was in 2016. I watched some documentaries
So
and
yeah,
I went vegan
right.
actually because of the environmental
Yeah,
aspect
right, right.
and the health benefits that you get as a result of it too. So in 2016, I remember my wife and I went vegan for a whole year, and but junk vegans, like
Mm,
completely junk vegans. Like I mean, we were having like those ramen noodles that were Indian ramen noodles, which are
mm,
like those Chinese ones, the Hakka noodles and
mm,
all
right,
that.
right,
They were
right.
all
Yeah,
so I mean, it was junky stuff, right? We were putting oil, we were putting like lots of different stuff to make it taste better, right? Because that's how we knew how to cook. Like, I mean, our ancestors, that's the way they do it, right? I
mm,
mean,
mm,
start everything with an oil,
mm,
and then everything builds from that, right? And so it was unhealthy,
right,
and so and during that time, simultaneously, I was taking Entyvio, so I was pretty good. I had pretty good energy levels.
right. So
But
you cut out the meat, obviously, yeah, meat and dairy and all that. Yeah,
dairy, I cut
and
out.
you felt a tiny bit better, I'm guessing, or you felt better, or no? Still the same.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel better. I
yeah,
did feel better. I had
yeah.
more energy. I remember that. I used to go on hardcore hikes. I remember
Right,
that
right, right.
Yosemite and stuff. Um, and I was able to do all that. Very good. I was like, hey, this vegan diet is amazing, right? And but I didn't care about what vegan diet, right?
Mm, mm, mm.
It was just like I look at the
Processed
ingredients.
food as well.
Yeah, basically, it would be like 50 items, but there's no meat, dairy, or eggs,
Yeah,
so we're
so you're
good.
sweet. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's how it was. That's the type of vegan I was that time. And I remember, um, you know, everything was fine, but we started eating a lot of fried food,
Mm.
right? That was vegan. And I think in 2017 spring is when like I started to see the blood coming back a little bit. And that's when I was kind of like, dude, I'm eating like vegan stuff. What the hell is going on? It was just the fact that Entyvio was not working
Mm.
because Entyvio stopped responding. And that's what happened with Remicade. Like it stopped responding, and then the bleeding would come back, and then the bowel movement would subsequently start again. And that's when, I realized, okay, well, you know what? There has to be an alternative solution. So, so basically, then what happened is after my sigmoidoscopy and my follow up, the doctor said Xeljanz, and that's it. And I told her that's a lot of side effects, and then she talked about surgery. I went hardcore on Google first, then YouTube, like anything I could find,
Mm.
and there's like four different types of people out there
Mm, mm, mm.
that were saying different things. So you can't really follow everything, right? So, I remember I spent countless nights on this, like literally watching videos after videos. One was like Heal Like a Guy who was talking about, hey, you know what? It's all about raw milk. Raw milk is the answer to every problem. If you can, live next to a farm, you'll get the best raw milk you can possibly get, and that will create. And I remember he was so strange about it too, because he was like, your meat has to be make sure like it's cut properly, it's coming from the right location. You got to eat it though because that's what our ancestor ate. He was
Right,
doing
right, right.
he had this whole history lesson on it,
It's
and
interesting to note that like how can the city dwellers live next to a farm?
yeah.
It's pretty hard to do that.
Right, right, exactly. I'm like, dude, I'm in mainstream Southern California.
Yeah,
Like, there's
right.
no way I'm gonna be able to go and get my own cow to
Yeah,
milk it.
of course. Yeah, yeah.
So, so basically,
And then
you
I think
know,
you got guy, and then some other people as well that you.
yeah, like I watched videos on Kenny Hana's, I think, and I think you guys helped him initially too, I believe, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and he was like, he also said the same thing. He was like, you know what? When you're healing, have the vegan diet, but once you're done, you need the milk, you need the probiotics, you need this, and you need that. And I was like, okay, well. at least is better than the other guy because
Mm.
he was like straight up raw milk, and then when I watched a little more videos of that guy, he was kind of like, okay, when you start this raw milk process, and this is where I got scared, and I was like, I'm not doing this, right?
Right,
He was,
right.
it's going to be like a major attack and blah 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 in your system. Like, don't worry, it's normal. And I was just like, no, no, I'm not going to do that because raw milk stinks a lot too.
Mm,
Like,
mm.
it's disgusting. So I was kind of like, no, because I'm coming from a vegan diet, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
of
used
course.
to milk, right? So I'm not going to go to raw milk. And then he's saying that you're going to have major diarrheas and all these reactions, and it's okay. Like your body's getting accustomed to it. No, I'm not doing that. And that's when I bumped into your videos right after, um, where basically you were talking about how just plant-based diet and following the book, right, would kind of like is the right process of getting started and then eventually reintroducing foods if you're feeling better. So that's when I binge watched like tons of videos. I think everything in your library I watched.
Mm, mm, mm.
Especially that one video where you guided us like what food to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner kind of thing. I remember you guided it. I think you were in Thailand that
Right,
time.
right. Yeah.
And so I watched that and I started doing my own thing because I was just like, well, I mean, I don't know if I can put my faith because I remember I'm coming from a background which has a lot of faith in medicine, okay? Not faith in digestive coaches who have done this,
Mm,
right?
mm, mm.
So to me, it was kind of like, well, I mean, if it's just a diet, let me just try it on my own, right? I mean, you were guiding us in that video, so might as well do it. And I remember doing it, and I didn't know what to expect because I remember I was having like 6, 7 bowel movements that time, and I was on medication that time. My doctor had given me prednisone again, um, and then I was having it and having these medications, my bleeding would not stop. And I didn't know what to expect, how long it's taking, right? I mean, people were saying in the research from you, it was like, oh, 4 to 6 months, but I didn't know what happens in between and how the process works. And that's when I remember writing you in some comments and some videos too. Hey, I'm doing this. Do you recommend that? And I remember you promptly responded too. But then I was like, well, it would be nice to just, I mean, I spent 35 grand, might as
Mm.
well spend a grand and see what happens because
Right.
cold approval is the worst thing,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, if I can subside that, I'm good, right? So that's when I contacted you. I think it was in October. So September, I did it all by myself. Then I reached out to you in October of 2017, 18.
Mm,
Yes,
okay.
right. So
Right. So then, obviously, you needed some guidance, and it was something that I think a lot of people don't understand what to do, and I think that's why we've set up this because it's
right,
something that I would have wanted when I was going through it myself
of
7 years
course.
ago. Um,
Yeah.
right, so you made the call to join us, and you started the healing diet. How was the support? What was our coaching like, and what were the benefits of this ongoing support that we gave you? Like.